The internet is an amazing thing, and it deserves all the appreciation it gets. You can find things you never knew you needed in your life. Here, have a picture of Freddie Mercury on Darth Vader's shoulders. How about the song Hellfire, sung from the perspective of Elsa from Frozen? That's a thing. And this is certainly true of the world of fandom, and more specifically, shipping. Now, shipping is nothing new. Whether established or implied, throughout different media we've analysed from every angle and sift through the subtext to confirm or just theorise about relationships that may or may not be there. The internet just turned it up to 11. Now, even the smallest of interaction, or even none at all, can bloom into a treasure trove of fan works. And I would know. I have scoured high and low and discovered the most obscure of pairings, and also that, no matter how small the ship is, there is always someone else on board.
You got a boyfriend?
And for your entertainment and my humiliation, I am going to share with you my personal assortment of rare pairings. Some of these pairings are probably rare for a reason, so there is potential for huge amounts of cringiness ahead. You have been warned. Let's go. Jerome Velasca and Barbara Keane from Gotham. Well, don't we all want someone with a good sense of humour? In Season 2, when these characters meet, it looked like there was going to be echoes of a Harley-Joker relationship. Perhaps with Jerome becoming infatuated with Barbara, and Barbara, being Barbara, taking full advantage. I mean, he looks at her like I look at pictures of Erin Richards.
Your dad.
Yeah, so why don't you go make me a sandwich?
Granted, both characters have recently been a little too preoccupied with that inconvenient problem of death and coming back from the dead. Hey, comics! It would have been great to see these two crazy kids meet back up again. And really, relationship or no, I'd have loved to have seen them team up and rip Gotham a new one. I mean, come on, it's not like they can make that city much worse, is it?
Oh, that shithole.
What? Fine.
They became the king and queen of Gotham City.
And God help anyone who disrespected the queen.
Are you happy now? I feel dirty. Not in the fun way. Poe Dameron and General Hux from Star Wars. Seriously though, I think I'm developing a bit of a fetish for fictional evil gingers. But hey, who doesn't love a fiery redhead?
As the last day of the Republic!
He's feisty. It's pretty unlikely General Hux will be making it to the credits of Episode 9, which would be a terrible shame in universe. It's going to cripple that galaxy's pomade industry. But still, a few theories claim he'll be joining up with the Resistance in the next film. You know, the sort of the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing. Which would be better because, as some might have seen, the other way around just ends in stupid. Really? That's why you buys him. Wasted opportunity. But mostly, this is a dynamic that's so familiar, it's almost traditional. Prim and proper meets charming rogue. Where have we seen that before? Hey, don't look at me. Circles within circles, remember? But also maybe something refreshingly modern. Two sides meeting, both totally dedicated to their cause, finding merit in seeing things from the other's perspective. Maybe never truly accepting, but realising they can still respect it. Besides, it's generally agreed that it's never a good idea to enter a relationship where one party feels that they can change the other. Megan Rule from Love Never Dies. Let's get one thing straight. Love Never Dies is an awful, 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 awful idea. And it was made even worse by missing out on an obvious solution to that stupid ending. Pair the spares. Meg and Raoul, two desperate, broken people cast aside by their desired partners, finding love, healing, and understanding with each other.
Close your eyes and flee.
That was the most intimate moment he's had for years. I do not like what Love Never Dies does to these characters. However, Meg at least manages to retain some of the spirit the character had that made her so charming in Phantom of the Opera. Unlike some. And really, in this show, Raoul desperately needs someone to tell him to buck up his ideas and sort himself out. And if he tried any of what he does with Christine, with Meg in this show, she'd tell him to jump off that pier and don't bother getting back out anytime soon.
Miss Sherry! Miss Sherry!
Selphie and Ragin from Final Fantasy VIII. Can't I just use the excuse that I think they're cute? Fine. He's a tall, athletic young man whose interests include insects, matching his accessories with his friends, and helping his buddies in their pursuit of world conquest. She's a petite mercenary who enjoys train travel, organising social events, and explosions. They're so crazy, they might just work! Beyond our highly marketed breeding pair, the hookups in Final Fantasy VIII have always been far more vague, to the point that these two are something of a fan favourite. And they don't even end up together! So rather than a cowboy Romeo or a human hotdog Hoover, I think our little Selphie deserves a real gentleman, who would never dream of hitting a girl. Well, until he realises that she doesn't have that same problem, and she hits a heck of a lot harder than he was expecting. And besides, it might be nice for him to have someone to show his blue-headed beetle to. You know, because he's really into insects. Leela and Romana from Doctor Who. I've seen Romana being paired up with a good collection of Doctor Who characters and beyond. I've seen her shipped with him, with her, even with him. But it makes sense. She's a great character, and she was doing the whole cool time lady thing before it was popular. And if I was going to ship her with anyone, it would have to be with the leather-clad, knife-wielding Eliza Doolittle herself, Leela. Now the show never had these two meeting, but in the radio plays, oh boy. If you didn't know these characters, I wouldn't blame you for thinking Leela's kids have two mums. From Romana whisking Leela away on a spontaneous holiday to convince her to stay with her, to Leela saying this. And really, isn't that what every time traveller wants to hear from the half-naked barbarian in their lives? Sadeera and Mosenrath from Aladdin.
To another Arabian night.
Well, this is a blast from the past. Now here's a question. Can one ship when one is still too young to know what shipping is? Because I'm pretty sure that's what I did. In the show, I suppose you could say that they're the young hot things of the villain sphere. Unless you're really into older men or furries. Which is fine. But coming back to the show, I'm a little bit in love with how chill Sadeera always was with all the creepy stuff that kept getting thrown at her. Makes me think that a date with this proto-goth wouldn't really bring that many surprises. Skeletal hand? Meh. Army of the undead? Whatever. Attempting to destroy her hometown? We all need our hobbies. I just think that these two surprisingly isolated characters would have done a lot of good for each other. Someone as self-assured as Mosenrath could help boost Sadeera's confidence, and on the flip side, this exuberant young woman may be a good influence, showing him how to have a little fun in life. At the very least, get him out of that citadel of eternal nighttime. Come on, mate, you live in the desert and you're paler than I am. Norrington and Angelica from Pirates of the Caribbean. Side note, if Laurel and Hardy here can come back to the franchise, why can't Norrington? What we have here is a classic tale. The icy, straight-laced, repressed character, meets an adventurous, seductive, swashbuckling type. Just flipped around. It'd be like a gender-reversed version of, oh god. Oh, what's it called? It's a really old film.
Every Douglas Fairbanks movie ever made?
That's it. It'd be a gender-reversed version of every Douglas Fairbanks movie ever made. But that could never work, I hear you cry. But consider that the dynamic would benefit mostly from the actors playing the characters. Penelope Cruz's natural sultriness, working off Jack Davenport, playing Norrington with all the sexual worldliness of Son Goku. It also helps that he's perfected that look of someone who's only just found out where babies come from.
Elizabeth?
She'd be better off with someone who isn't going to abandon her on a deserted island, and he could do with someone who isn't going to humiliate him in front of everyone he knows. And together, maybe they would have found the greatest treasure of all. There. I have revealed to you my rarest and arguably most embarrassing ships from across the board. I have humiliated myself for the entertainment of the people of the internet. And I'm glad I did it. This was fun. It's always fun to gush about the things you enjoy. You should never be ashamed of these things. They bring us joy. So share those obscure pairings in the comments below and book yourself a ticket on that little-known cruise ship. Order yourself a fruity cocktail and who knows, you might just meet someone who's just as into it as you are. I'll see you next time.